Welcome to our Talk TV channel 11 April 2021 Economic Newsletter. In today's program, we will introduce to you some of the following main contents. The country's merchandise trade balance showed a surplus of USD 2.8 billion in the first quarter of 2021. Banks are entering stakeholder meeting season. Officially open to sell light taken for the first time. Real estate price in the first 3 months increased sharply. VN index could not recover when losing the power of leading group. Italy through economic higher packing worth 32 billion euros. Japan spent 20 billion USD to support business. The bright spot in the economic picture in the first quarter of 2020 was the merchandise trade balance of the country with a surplus of 2.8 billion USD. In March 2020, although the COVID-19 epidemics were complicated and spread around the world, the total values of goods import and export in the whole country still reached 39 billion USD, down only 1.1% compared to the previous month, in which total exports values is estimated at 20 billion USD, down 4.1%, and total imports values is estimated at 19 billion USD, up 2.3% from a month earlier. And the total imports and export turnover of the country in the first quarter of estimates at 115.34 billion USD, down 0.69% over the same period last year. On March 24, the sale of light tickets were officially opened for the first time with the participation of numerous investors, businesses, press representatives, and line-to-line representatives in 10 countries, especially Thai office representatives. Notably, the first sale of 5 million tokens were matched in just 30 seconds to the delight of owned investors. Meanwhile, up to 20 notably, the first sale of 5 million tokens were matched in just 30 seconds to the delight of owned investors. Meanwhile, up to 27.000 tokens were all ordered, but failed because the supply was sold out. It is known that the launch roadmap for sale have 3 pre-sales rounds. Detailed information will be announced by the organizers. The Department of Housing Management and Real Estate Market, Ministries of Construction said the real estate price in the first 3 months of 2021 still increased, in which areas project price increased by over 10% compared to the beginning of 2020. The real estate markets in many localities have local land figures with an increase of service dozens, hundreds, even a few hundreds% such as Lương Sơn Hoa Binh, Gia Viễn Ninh Binh to the Ho Chi Minh City, Hon Quan Binh Phước. The increase in real estate price displays the difficult situation of the epidemic has given investors confidence in the picture of the growth of the markets in 2021, especially when the bottlenecks are cleaned and the picture of the macroeconomics the still appear in brighter shade of color. The markets at the end of the week were more plunged in the stock trading, but unfortunately, the VN index could not recover when it lost the power of the leading group. Banking costs were tending to increase, others decreased slightly, not enough to make short-term speculators lose much. Moreover, it can be seen that banking stocks are considered to be stocks with the most supportive information related to the business results. However, the different increase in the past 2 weeks also show that speculation on this form is not easy. The market has now entered to buy the first quarter earnings reports. History shows that the market is dividends at this time because investors are jumping between stocks to anticipate the business results. Typically, MB announced its plan to increase its capital capital to 40%. OCBC submits to shareholder a plan to increase its chapter capital from 10.959 billion Vietnam dong to 14.449 billion Vietnam dong, equivalent to an increase of 32%. The difference this year compared to previous years is that banks only pay dividends in share at a very high rate, about 20 to 40% on average. For example, MSB pays dividends. By shares at the rate of 30%, expected to increase its capital from 11.750 billion dong to 15.275 billion dong. While last year the bank share dividend rate was only 1/3 of this year. VIB plans to submit to shareholder the capital increase plan, including partners share dividend from equities at the rate of 40% and offerings up to a maximum of 46.6 billion additional shares. Grants we go to the affect businesses, social security and the health sector with the immunization program. The government also extended the suppression of layout until the end of June. Italy was the first European country to have the COVID-19 outbreak more than a year ago, and the country is now in a bad recession. Most things were chosen in 2020. Italy's GDP will decrease by 8.5%. About 450,000 people will lose their jobs, most of which are women and young people. According to Prime Minister Draghi, this pilot's backup only particularly supports business. The Japanese government says it will allow $14.2 billion to local government to assist owners of restaurants and bars that have been closed since the first outbreaks in order to prevent the spread of the disease. Each business can get support $370 per day. The government will spend $3.15 billion to support business households whose income was suffering during the epidemics. Especially business households will be able to borrow money up to $18,500 under the interest-free, consciously loan program that lasts until the end of next June. In addition, the government also spent $20 million to support poor families with young children, with a support level of $462 a child. With the opposed measure, Japan has nearly depends on the $107 billion of the fiscal year 2020 contingent fund in response to the COVID-19 epidemic. The remaining amount in the fund is only $47 million. The world gold price decreased due to economic stimulus measure reductions the demand for gold. On the world market, spot gold price dropped 0.4% to $1,748.81 after hitting its highest level since March 1. It's worth $1,758.45. Concern about a sharp increase in oil supply have overwhelmed the expectation of improved demand. As of early this morning on the New York Mercantile Exchange, WTI light sweet crude oil delivered in May the 2021 stood at $59.34, Paris down $0.26 barrels in the session. The Economics News on Talk TV is closed. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you again.